Hey guys, it's Kevin again. Welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. Today we're going to be creating this image right here, just using stock images really. And this was a really fun project to make. I started this image when I recorded the tutorial and I really didn't know what direction I was going in exactly. And so you get an opportunity to watch my creative process here and just see how I go along and make pictures like this. But really fun, and I just want to share with you how I made this image, and that hopefully you'll get inspired to make your own creative image as well. So let's go ahead and jump right in for this Photoshop tutorial. Christmas picture. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be compositing multiple images together, and I've got a little sketch here. I want to kind of show you what I'm looking for. I kind of want to do like half of the screen. It's going to be like cut in half, so you're going to have two little scenes here, and on one side we're going to have like this little Christmas tree over here. That's a Christmas tree. Inside like a room, you know, like in a living room, and it's all lit up and it's glowing and there's a star on top and everything. And then on the other side, you're going to have, you know, the very start of Christmas, which would be the birth of Jesus. And then you have like a little cave or a stable or whatever. And then, so inside of this room wouldn't be a Christmas tree, but it would be, instead it would be the manger. And so we would want to have like a little manger here, kind of like that, just sitting like here in this cave. And then in the background, we'd have like the star of Bethlehem, which is going to counter the star that's in this one. So it's kind of like a combination of a modern, like a modern Christmas, like a Christmas tree and stockings and stars and all that stuff. And then the 2,000 years ago, the Christmas scene in the manger. And so that's kind of what I want to do. And so we want to combine multiple stock images to do that. The stock images that I have are actually free stock images. So let me go ahead and bring those in. So here's the first one. This is a cave. This is off of unsplash.com. And then we're also going to use this picture right here of a Christmas tree inside of someone's house. And again, this is off of unsplash.com. And I'm going to get a picture of a manger also, and the manger is actually my own photography. So I've got this picture of a manger. I built this manger a couple of years ago, put it in our garage, and got some straw and everything, and took some pictures of it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this. It's still in the raw format. So yeah, I haven't even got this picture ready for it yet. Let's just make it a little bit cooler. You can see my foot right there. There's my foot. Just trying to get this picture the way I want it to. I think it's going to be fine. We'll make some adjustments to it as we go. Let's just bring a little bit of the shadows up. And I think that's going to be fine. Just like that. Okay, so let me go ahead and open this picture. There we go. We got our manger. We got our Christmas tree, we got our cave, and I think that should be all we need. We may need some more pictures as we go, but I think that's going to be fine. All right, so let's go into our canvas. Right now, my canvas is pretty wide, 5,500 by 4,000. We'll change that to 300. I may change the canvas as we go, but definitely want to have half of it, doing one side and half the other side. So I'm going to try to divide this right in the middle. So let me go ahead and do that. What is half of 5,500? I think it's 2,750. I think that's right. And we'll do this at 4,000. Okay, so there is one side. Let me just go ahead and fill this in with like a blue or something. All right, let's do orange on that side, and then we'll duplicate that. And there we go. We got blue and we got orange, just so I know where the exact halfway mark is. We got these two different sides. All right, so the first thing I want to do is work on the blue side, which would be the cave here. So let's go ahead and bring this in, and let's put this in here. Remember, the cave is right over here. So we want to kind of make sure it blends something like that. Now, when Jesus was born in a stable, or not necessarily in a stable, but he was born where the animals were eating and sleeping at. And so it was most likely not a wooden stable. It was most likely like a stone cutout. And so that's probably what this is going to represent. This is more of a cave picture, but I just mainly want to get these edges right here of the side here. And I'm not so much interested on the right side because there's like a cutout of the cave. That's not important to me. So I'm actually going to get rid of a lot of that. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to select out this white. So I'm just going to select this white here, and I'm just going to delete that out. I just don't want that. I don't want any of that white because we're going to put a night scene with stars and everything. And so I don't want that in there. So let me just delete that out. And also let's go ahead and get rid of that tree down there. The tree's not going to make any sense for what we're doing. So let me just go ahead and get rid of that tree. Some little branches up here. I'm not going to be too much focused on details right now. I just want to get rid of some of those things. And actually, I don't even want this edge of this little mouth of this cave. Like, I don't even want that. I want to make it look like the cave is going on and on. Like it's a bigger room than just this little bitty thing right here. So something kind of like that. Yeah, just kind of like that. And just using layer mask. I'm not editing, or I'm not using the eraser tool to edit. I'm just using layer mask. All right, that looks good enough. We're gonna have a manger right here anyway, so you're not even gonna see this. You're not really gonna see this edge, so I'm not gonna focus too much on that. But that looks good. Let's go ahead and save. I always save it frequently, just in case. You never know what's gonna happen. Okay, so that looks good, and let's go ahead and add our Christmas tree on the other side. So here is our Christmas tree. And let's go ahead and bring this in, and we'll make sure it goes below this layer. And I want to make sure it's not going to be perfect, but I want to make sure like this ceiling right here kind of matches the ceiling here. So I'm probably going to make it just a little bit bigger. Maybe not too much bigger, but just a little bit bigger. And I may have to make this one even bigger as well and scooch you down just a little bit. Something kind of like that. Okay, that's not bad. It doesn't line up perfectly. Sometimes you have this issue with stock photos. If you're not using your own photos, you're not going to be able to get them to line up the way you want to. But I think that's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. There's the stockings there. I really like those stockings, but I want to kind of center that tree right there. Okay, so let's leave that right there. I'm also going to get another stock photo because there's an issue that we're having here. Let me see if I can find a stock photo real quick. All right, I'm going to get this stock photo again off of Unsplash. It's a great place to go for photos if you don't have the ability to get some of these pictures. I'm just going to grab this little wall right here, this little half wall. I'm going to stick it. Oops, I didn't grab it, did I? Copy, paste. There we go. There's our little wall. I'm going to transform it. Go this way. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little wall to this room. That's all I'm doing. So it's going to kind of cover up, certain things here. Maybe cover up those stockings. I don't know. But just trying to cover some things up. Let me try to line up these baseboards. Like that. All right, so we're going to have to make it a little bit smaller, and that's okay. All right, and then let me just copy this. Then bring this up as well. And we'll just take it all the way to the ceiling. Why not? It's like a little wall that's, inside this house, and I think that's going to be fine. I like that. Let me try to fix this just a little bit more. This may or may not even be necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just like that. All right, so let me get rid of this part of the wall. There we go. All right. And then what I'm going to do is, since I got this little bitty wall here, the reason I put that wall in there is because I want like a little divider here. So I'm going to go back and get my my cave again. I'm going to bring this cave here, and I'm going to put this cave. This is what it looked like. I kind of just moved it over to the side. So now I'm going to get this little edge here. You see this little edge? I'm actually going to go ahead and make it black and white too. Control Shift and U just makes it black and white. I don't want those green little colors in there. Actually, let's leave the green colors for a second. Might take those out later. So right there, and then what I want to do is I want to just kind of clip it to that little wall that I made. So you see our little wall that we made here. I just want to kind of clip it in there for the time being. And I think that'll be pretty good like that. And if I move that wall, I can kind of reveal, how much I want of this little cave here. Let me go ahead and get rid of that white stuff as well. Delete. Oops. Okay, now let's bring it back. There we go. Now, when I bring it over, kind of like that. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I probably didn't even have to make that wall. I just wanted kind of like to start making the wall look like it's becoming rocks. That's kind of the purpose behind that. Like that. Okay, so then if I start masking out this part of the wall here, it's going to kind of turn this wall, start turning this wall like into the rock. So that's kind of what I want to kind of like fade out into this part over here. But I'm not sure if that's even the best way to do this. All right, so what I'm going to do instead of having that little wall, that wall just was not going to make any sense. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to just do it straight like this. And what I'm going to do is we're going to paint part of this wall going into this like living room here. Okay. So there we go. We got this little wall going into the living room. I don't want it to like completely like block out everything. I just want it to... I'm probably going to have to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, kind of like that. I think would be good. I want to kind of make it match that ceiling there, but something like that I think is good. We'll change the colors in just a second. Yeah, something like, I think that's going to be okay. And we're just going to fade it out. So like when it gets up to the ceiling here, just kind of fade this area out. And then right down here by the Christmas tree, I don't want it to be like blocking the tree. So I'm just going to kind of fade that out like that. And I think that looks good. Looks good enough. For what we want to do, I think that looks good enough. All right, now we've got to make it darker, of course, so let's do a levels adjustment on it. Let's make it a little bit darker, kind of like that, because we want it to match the other side as well. All right, that looks good. So now we have like this nice seamless, it almost looks seamless. There is a nice seam in there, but it looks pretty good like that. However, we do have some issues with the color. This living room is nice and orange, and it's got all these yellow lights and orange lights and everything. And so we're going to need some of those colors on these rocks as well. So I'm going to get a divide. I love doing this. You know this. I love getting a divide blend mode. like that. And then we're just going to paint some divide blend mode right on the edges of these rocks, because I want it to look like the rocks are kind of reflecting just a little bit of this glow. Not a lot though, just a little bit. Just like that. It's reflecting some of this glow from that tree. And let me do one more underneath that divide blend mode. I'm going to do an overlay blend mode, but it's going to be white this time. There we go. Now it's really going to amp up that glow on the edge of these rocks. Something like that. And let me just kind of fade this out here. It is a little tricky right here near the ceiling, because the ceiling's kind of at a weird angle here, but I'm going to just try my best. Try my best. Kind of like that. We're going to have to, if I had more time, I would just go in and zoom in and get really, really detailed here. I'm not going to do that today. Just want to do a quick little picture for Christmas. I think that's good right there. Okay, so that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's go ahead and paint these little rocks down here as well. If people zoom in, yeah, they're going to see a few little issues here that are unfortunate, but for the majority of people, they're not going to notice all these little issues. We're just going to kind of fade it in as best as we can. And that looks fine. Okay, Christmas tree on the left. Random blue lights on the right. Perfect. That's a great time to save. Let's go and do that. Oh, I do need one more picture. I need a picture of our stars. So here's a picture of the stars, again, off of Unsplash. Let's go ahead and bring this in. And let's go to our background, which is our blue. Right here. There we go. There's our stars. I'm just going to bring this up. We do have like this little man right here, and we don't want that man, but I'll get rid of him in a second. So let's just kind of put our horizon line about right here. I'll make him bigger. That's fine. That's probably about the right scale and proportion. Something like that. Let's go and get rid of that man. Don't want that man there. So I'm just going to drag this selection. Shift F5, content aware, and he's gone. Perfect, like that. I don't really like that yellow so much on that picture, so I'm just going to go ahead and let's try selective color here and turn these yellows more blue, and also those reds more blue, like that. That's good. So something like that. Just toning down those yellows just a little bit. And let's just make the whole thing even more blue. So we'll just do a color balance on the entire thing. Make it nice and blue, which is what we want. That should be good enough. All right, so we got a nice blue background here of our stars. And, oh, we need one more picture. Man, we do need a lot of pictures, don't we? I'm just going to do star. Let's see if we can find a star on Unsplash. We may not be able to find one. Oh, this will work perfect. I don't actually think it's a star. There we go. I don't think this is actually a star. That's the moon or something. I don't know what that is. But it's going to work for our star. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring this in here and change it to screen. Screen. And just going to kind of stick it right about there. Now our star on our left side is right there. That's okay. It's not going to be a perfect match, but it's, you got the idea. We'll make it just a little bit smaller. There we go. And let's go ahead and erase these mountains. Get rid of those mountains. There we go. We got a nice little star in our background. So that looks good. It's nice and blue. So our cave needs to be a lot more blue as well. So let's go ahead and make our cave a lot more blue. Levels adjustment on the cave. And we'll just take out some reds and we'll add some blues. Don't do too many. You're going to get a weird kind of color here. That's pretty close. We're getting just a little bit too much green here, so let's take out some green. That looks good. All right, so there's our cave. Is a lot more blue. It probably needs to be just a little bit darker, so we'll do a RGB. Just tone that in just a little bit. And I think that's pretty good. Now, one thing you're going to notice is, you know, our seamless little line over here. Man, we have our orange and yellow rocks on the left. Now we just changed the rocks on the right to this blue, and now you're going to really see this big difference here. And so one thing that we can do is just go to that levels adjustment and just kind of fade out that levels adjustment right there. Looks good. And then we can also just fade out the actual layer of the rocks. And so we can do that as well. So we'll just kind of fade this out. So there won't be a seam, like just a straight line going through it. So kind of like that. And again, this is where I'd want to spend a little bit more time just going in and zooming in and really focusing in on these details. But that's just not going to happen today. That's just not going to happen. Something like that. I want to make it look like these are the same rocks. That's kind of my point. Like it's kind of what I want to do here. So definitely want to make it look like there's no seam here between the two. So that looks good. I'm just going to do just a little bit more here. So we just still have that little bit of yellow right in there. Okay, I think that is sufficient for now. It does need to look like it needs to be a little bit darker. Let me do another levels adjustment. Just bring those darks in just a little bit, but fade it out. So a lot of this is just color grade. Fun old color grade stuff. Let's make sure that stuff's right. There we go. Good time to save our image. All right, let's go ahead and get this manger in here. So where's my manger? There's my manger. So what I'm going to do, this was not a perfect picture for what I was doing because I took this picture several years ago. I didn't know what I was going to use it for. Didn't know at all. Let's just go ahead and bring the whole picture in. Copy that. And now we're not going to show the whole manger. We're just going to show part of the manger because I don't want, I just want it to be like a little hint that there's a manger in the scene here. So I'm just going to make it nice and small, about right here. And the manger actually probably wasn't made out of wood either. It was probably made out of stone where the animals were eating. I didn't make a stone manger though, so I don't have one of those. All right, so I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and start masking out this image like this, but not perfectly. I'm going to have to zoom in for this one. All right, so I'm just going to do a really rough job right now. I got all this straw everywhere. That's okay, but let me just do this for now. But you can see that straw is like really bright, warm tones. It's not blue at all. So we're gonna fix that. I'm going to just show a quicker way to fix this. Photo filter, put it on that manger, and then we're just going to select a nice little blue color like that, and just max that out. And it is nice and blue now. That's much, much better than what we started with. But I'm going to have to zoom in, unfortunately. Least favorite part of editing is getting all these little details. Let me just go ahead and get rid of a lot of these little straw things here. This is where an area where like the pen tool is just not going to be very helpful. It's just going to be easier just to get a paintbrush and just kind of work with it like this. We just want to fade these pieces of straw like into the background. We're just fading them. I'm going to match them a little bit better with the background in just a second, but I just want to get a nice starting point. And then these little things up here is going to be a little bit trickier. So I need to get these little bits here, I'm going to have to do a levels adjustment and try to get that color to match the background. That's pretty close, like that. No, that's not gonna work. Let's see if I can do a magic tool here and then erase part of this. Oh, that might work. It might work. It might not, but it might work. Ah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. Let's try that again. Let's try a little magic tool here. Yeah. And then we'll erase that part. That is not bad. That is not bad. It's probably not going to satisfy people who are perfectionists, but it is going to satisfy me today just to get rid of that background but leave some of these little pieces of straw. Yeah, that's going to be... That is good enough for me. Let's see how we look here. All right, so we got a nice little... Nice little manger down here. Let's go ahead and mask out just a little bit more down here. And guys, I'm just kind of like I don't really know what I'm doing. So most of this tutorial is just you watching me with my creative process. Like, I don't really know how this is going to look in the end. And so thank you for watching me try to create something. All right, so our straw still looks a little bit too reddish for what the cave looks like, and so I'm just going to do a levels adjustment on the straw. Let's try to make it a little bit more blue again, kind of like that. Looks good. I think like that's good. And then what I'll do is I'll just paint that levels adjustment on the straw. There we go. I think that matches pretty good now. It's really hard to see unless you were to zoom in. But with our manger is a little bit too bright, so we'll do another levels adjustment, and we'll just focus on the manger. Let's make it nice and dark like that. Yeah, nice and dark, so you can tell that it is a manger and it's in shadow. But I'm going to make sure I don't get all that straw and everything is in that dark shadow. So, and then right up here at the top, I'm just going to do that as well. I just want to make sure you know it's a manger. Nice little silhouette of the manger. So if you zoom out, that's kind of what we're looking like. I think that's decent right there. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of a glow behind that manger just to separate it from the background. So a nice little grayish blue color. And I'm just going to paint just a little bit here. It's kind of like the light is like leaking into this cave here. And what that's going to do is just going to separate the background from the foreground a little bit. So just kind of like that. We'll change that to screen. There we go. And we'll just tone it down a little bit. Okay. So you can see it just makes the manger a little bit more easy to see. And that's really the main thing that I was trying to do. There we go. Make it easier to see, and then we can also tone this down just a little bit. There we go. All right, so we have our nice little manger in here. Do we need to do anything else to the manger? Probably want to do a little bit sharper of a cut here. There we go. That looks a little bit sharper. Looks good. Looks good. All right, so we're telling our two stories here. We've got our manger on one side. We've got our Christmas tree on the other side. We don't have the entire manger, and that's on purpose. It's just kind of like a hint of the manger. And we got our star here, but we don't have our star on the Christmas tree over here. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and make our Christmas tree nice and bright. Right, they've got a star on there, right? That it's not even lit. It's just like a plastic little star here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this star glow because I want it to mirror the other side. So we're going to make this star nice and bright and glowy. Hopefully it won't be too hard. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and bring it to one of these nice little yellowish colors that are already in the scene. This is what the light would look like. There we go, our nice little bright star there. And let's go ahead and change it to overlay, and then we're going to keep on duplicating that till it's nice and ugly and bright little yellow like that, but we still have some of that texture in there. So a nice little yellow there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little glow around it. So what we want to do is just get a nice little, that little yellow orange color is fine, and just kind of paint a little bit of, let's make sure our hardness isn't there. There we go. And we're going to change this to screen, and just going to paint a little bit of a glow around it, but not obnoxious glow, just a little glow like that. Okay, that's good. All right, now let's do that divide blend mode again. I love doing divide. We're going to get a blue because we want an orange glow, and so we're going to get a nice little blue right in there, and a nice big brush, and there we go. There's our nice orange glow. Let's make it just a little bit more like this. Oh, wrong way. Like this. There we go. Nice orange, yellowish star right here. There we go. That is nice and bright. And it's yellow, which is kind of what I wanted. Now it would be reflecting on the ceiling, right? So I want to make sure like the ceiling has like some glows on it too, some bright glows right in here. So I just want to have some like reflecting lights right on the ceiling and right over here on this wall. Now we're going to start adding some grain when you do this. But you want to make it look like that bright star in that room is reflecting off other surfaces like the ceiling or the walls or whatever. And that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and add some more lights to my ornaments here too. So let's just add a few more like really bright glowing lights here with the divide blend mode. I'm not going to do all the lights, but just, a few here and there. Make them super duper bright. Just a few of them. Just a few. And definitely on that star. Nice and bright. There we go. So let's zoom out again. This is what we did. We added our little divide blend mode here. That looks good. And while we're at it on the same blend mode, no, I can't do it on the same blend mode. I got to do it up here. All right, so let's go up to the top above everything. Let's make another divide blend mode. Actually, can we just bring that to the top? Let's just bring this divide blend mode to the top. There we go. And while we're on the same divide blend mode, we're going to take the same orange that's in the scene, orange-ish yellow, and we're going to go over to the right side, and we're going to paint some nice little blues on our manger scene. So I'm going to paint some right around this this star, maybe even some right on the manger, maybe some right here on the edge of this cave here. Really just trying to use some complementary colors here where we have, we have the orange on one side, the blue on the other side. These colors tend to work together pretty well. So something kind of like that. So here's before and after. You can see what's going on. Now let's go back to the other side and get just a little bit on this wall here. Not too much, not too much. All right, I think we are looking good, looking good. Are there any other things I want to do to this picture before we color grade? Before we color grade. All right, I'm just gonna kind of tweak around with some little details and small little areas. So this is kind of like what I do towards the end of all my projects. Just kind of work on some little details and almost kind of like dodging and burning a little bit. So I just want to like dodge part of this or burn part of this cave here. Make it a little bit darker in certain areas, like where these shadows are at. Just trying to kind of add in more contrast a little bit. Just brushing that. Looks good, looks good. And then let's go ahead and start dodging. So we'll start dodging on certain little areas here. Just little details. That's all they are, just little details. And I always do this before my color grade. I try not, or if I do a color grade now, I always save the color grade as like a separate layers, and I can turn my color grade off and on. All right, so here's that before and after. You can tell it's not significant, but it is something. Just adding a few little details here and there in the shadows with the paintbrush and an overlay blend mode. That's all we're doing. But you can see like that manger is like a really dark shadow. It's, you know, it's really dark. It's definitely backlit. And so we want to make sure that this cave is nice and backlit as well. All right, here we go. Again, before and after, subtle, but I like it like that. Okay, so now I think this is good. I think we've done pretty good here. Any other details I want to focus on? Let me try to get rid of these a little bit. All right, I think that is good. Good time to save. How long have we been doing this? About 45 minutes? Not even 40 minutes? I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't see when we started. So what I would want to do at this point is do some color grade. And so I think it looks fine. We have yellow colors over here. We have blue colors over here. But I really want to focus on this color grade to see how good we can make it. And so let's try a few different things. I don't really know where we're going to go with this. But let's do a selective color. And let's do a neutral, or go to our neutral colors. Let's start with the left side. Let's make this nice and warm. So we'll take out some cyans. We're going to add some yellows. Maybe take out some magentas. Like that. That is much, much warmer. It's probably too yellow, though. Okay, let's go to our yellows, and let's make them more red and more yellow. I don't know. Like that. And let's go to our whites, and let's just amp those whites up. I didn't do a lot. Okay, so that definitely made the left side a lot more yellow, and it did the right side too, and I don't want the right side, so we're just going to do a layer mask on the right side, kind of like that. So here's before and after. Yeah, that's much more brighter on that side. Now what we can do is work on the right side. So let's do another selective color, neutrals, and let's make this side a little bit more blue. So let's add some cyans. Let's add magenta, or wait. Gotta be careful we don't overdo it here. Kind of like that. Go to our whites. Let's max those out. Let's go to our blues. See if we can adjust the blue. Do we want them to be more cyan or less cyan? I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's try that. So let's do a layer mask on the other side. There we go. So there's before and after with this short color grade. I do want to add a little bit more contrast on the other side, on the right side. So let's do a multiply, kind of like that. And then we'll do this. Okay, so just add a little bit of contrast there with a black and white gradient map, which I love to do. You know that. And Let's erase part of it around this star. Because I want that star to be nice and bright like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, looking good. Let's make this thing obnoxiously bright. There we go. That's obnoxiously bright. That's way too bright. Okay, so let's fan that out just a little bit. I like it. It's just, whew, that is intense. That is intense. So let's just kind of fade that out just a little bit. That's not bad though. It's got its own little feel to it. Kind of like that. All right, last thing, and I think we'll be done. Color balance. And this is going to affect the entire scene. Let's see if we can make... I'm adding a little bit too much contrast here, so I don't want to be careful with that. Well, let's try this again. Let's try curves instead. Sometimes curves looks better. All right, so curves, let's go ahead and add some blue and take out some yellow, or take out some blue. Let's go to reds and add some reds, take out some reds. Take out some reds and add some reds. And then green, let's add some greens and take out some greens. Nope, not liking that. I'm going in the wrong direction here, so may not even add anything else. That may be it. That may be all we do for this picture. I could play around with some other color grades, and that looks okay. It's just too dark. It's just too dark. But I do like the colors there. They're just too dark. So if I did like a hue. No, I don't like that. All right, I think we're gonna leave it like this then. I think that's good. It's a little bit, I wish it was just a little bit more orange on this left side. Rather than that yellow. Let me get a nice little orange photo filter. Bring this over here. Okay, so that made it a little bit more orange. Okay. I could dabble with this for the next hour and a half if you gave me the time to do that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And we're going to call this the finished product. We've combined some stock images, and we're telling the tale of two Christmases here. We have the modern Christmas with the stockings and the tree and the lights and the star and everything. And then we have the Christmas story of Jesus being born in a manger with the Star of Bethlehem, not born in a house or anything. He was born outside where the manger, where the animals are at, and that's why we have the manger there. But yeah, this was a fun project, and hope you learned at least a little bit from this. But go get some stock images or take your own pictures as well, blend them together, and tell a story with it. And I can't wait to see what you guys can create. But that's all I got for now. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Enjoy this tutorial, and I will see you again at the next year. Thanks, guys.